I'm so mad. I don't even want to talk about it. I'm so mad. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Hello and welcome to the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as the mayor of PHNX. His name is Jesse Friedman, occasionally known as the vice mayor of PHNX, also known as Thunderstick. We are here to scream and shout angry things about the Diamondbacks losing this series against the San Francisco Giants. But of course, this show is brought to you by the fine folks at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Go download the app now and use our code of PHNX. Get yourself a free $1,000 risk-free bet. It's not a free $1,000. You got to put the money in.
That would
but
be
it's risk-free.
extraordinary.
It's risk-free. We thank you guys so much for joining us. Whether you're happy, whether you're sad, we don't care. We'd prefer if you were sad. We'd prefer if you were angry because I'm angry. Jesse, you're never angry.
I'm never angry. I'm the even keeled.
He's slightly perturbed, is what he is. Meanwhile, I'm furious because the Diamondbacks gave away another Zac Gallen start, an opportunity for once again for him to win a career-high fifth start, which he did not do in a game that seemed very much so like this was the Arizona Diamondbacks game to win. First thoughts on this game, Jesse, is why is it, knowing what Zac Gallen's going through right now, why would you leave him in longer than 90 pitches? Why would you leave him in longer? He had a solid start, six solid innings.
Yeah.
One hit baseball. I get it. He's pitching well, but he's coming close to the 100 pitch mark. You know he's not going to get through that seventh inning based on the fact that he has 11, 12 pitches left, in his arsenal at that point. You don't want him going much more over than that. I get that he's having a good day. Historically, though, analytically, he has struggled in whatever that inning is where he reaches that 80, 90 pitch mark. So why wouldn't you just pull him at that point and let him have that confidence of a great outing where he didn't give up any runs and just one hit?
I honestly think that it was probably a bad thing, all things considered, that Zac Gallen got the first two outs of the seventh inning, because I want to say that's what Torey's thinking was here. Like, he's already got two outs. He gives up a home run. Fine, you still got a 2-run lead. You'll only need one more out to get out of the inning. And then the next guy comes up and hits a single. That's where, obviously, hindsight is 20/20. That's where I personally, if I had been in Torey's shoes, that's probably where I would have had Joe Mantiply ready to go.
Well, he only had one out at that point. He did get the second out, but he only had one out at that point before he gave up those couple of singles, if I'm not mistaken, right? So that's the stuff I'm talking about. But I'm also thinking, why is it that every starting pitcher, no matter how good they're doing, I mean, it's not like he was throwing a no-hitter, right, where you're pulling him out and then you're risking the scrutiny of pulling him out in the middle of a no-hit bid or something like that.
Sure,
it was a one-hit game, but you just know what Zac Gallen's been going through. So I'm just talking about building on confidence. I'm talking about not consistently putting your starting pitchers through a challenge for them to build on themselves and try to overcome this thing that they haven't been good at. You know that so far in his outings, he tends to be pretty solid until late in the outing.
Yeah.
Why not just make that move to pull him? I think that's what I'm angriest about. You know what I mean? And I get it that didn't give up the game. Don't even get me fucking started on Mark Melancon and once again using him in a non-save situation, which he has been terrible at. His 8th loss of the season. That's a whole other thing I'm going to rant and scream about. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that they left Zac Gallen in. I don't say that Torey Lovullo makes bad managerial moves as often as a lot of people think he does, right? I know that there's more that goes into it, so I understand sometimes his thought process, even if things don't work out for him. If they went right, he looks like a good manager. If they don't, you look like a bad manager. That's the way decisions go when it comes to baseball. But this decision was a bad decision. Yeah. And I feel like people that watch this team, fans, people that are familiar with the way that Zac Gallen has been performing this season, we're all just, I guess we were kind of joking, but we were serious about, why is he coming out for this inning? Why is he coming out in the 7th? I get that he had a great day, but let's let him have a great day. He wasn't going to get to 120 pitches. They weren't going to let him go that long. So why even have him come out in that inning?
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, and you're right.
Is it a bullpen being taxing? Like you're trying to get one more inning? I mean,
no.
do you really think you're going to get through
The
That
D-backs have an
seventh,
off day tomorrow, so I don't think that makes any
right,
sense.
right.
Yeah, and you're right. Zach Gallen didn't get 2 outs to start the inning. I misspoke there. It was just the line out with Austin Slater. Then Brandon Bell hit his home run. Estrada singled, and then that's where I probably would have pulled him. And you're right. I mean, Zac Gallen, this has been a recurring theme for him the last month or two, is that he, it's smooth sailing for 4 or 5, in this case, 6 innings. And then comes that last one, where he gets into the 80, 90, approaching the 100 pitch mark. And that's when the wheels tend to fall off. With the Diamondbacks having an off day tomorrow, with them having the All-Star break coming up, it is pretty dumbfounding why Torey was so hesitant to go to the bullpen in this situation. Obviously, yesterday was a rough one. Dallas Keuchel didn't go deep in that game, and the bullpen was a little bit taxed coming in here. But the Diamondbacks had a game that they absolutely could have won. They were up 3-0 throughout the majority of this one, and to cough it up at the end really, really, really hurts.
Brian Brighton Bobbitt in the comments says, in the end, the Gallen decision didn't lose the game. You're right. But the Zac Gallen decision did get them 2 runs closer. It might not have been the thing that put them over the edge.
Yeah.
Right. And who knows? Because that way that ninth inning went, it didn't seem like the Giants were going to stop scoring runs against Mark Melancon, who again had no business being in a non-save situation. Torey Lovullo has said that Mark Melancon has the 9th inning. Why? Why does he exclusively have the 9th inning when the track record so far doesn't back up or suggest, again, analytically, just like the Zac Gallen decision, why doesn't the track record back up you making a different decision?
I mean, that's who Torey Lovullo is, right? Torey Lovullo is the manager who gives guys roles and believes in them to a fault, arguably, right? And this is a recurring theme that we've seen with Torey, not only this season, but throughout his entire managerial tenure. You can point pretty much every single season that the Diamondbacks have played under manager Torey Lovullo, and I think every year you could pick out a reliever that Torey has shown a little bit too much trust in at times, and it's backfired on him. And there are situations where he's looked right in the end. He believed in Fernando Rodney back in 2017 when a lot of people didn't, and Fernando Rodney had an outstanding, last 3 or 4 months of that season. But you're right. Right now, with what we're seeing from Mark Melancon, the stuff is just not quite what it used to be. The velocity continues to be a little bit down. He's still throwing a lot of cutters that are around 90 miles an hour. And the location, more than anything, is just not what it needs to be. A lot of these pitches are further up in the strike zone than they should be.
And I don't try to say people are washed up or past that point in their career, right? What I do try to say is that no job should be secure, right? I mean, really, Every job, no matter if you are a server at a restaurant, here at this company at PHNX, a ball player on a team, someone that works at the ballpark, everybody has a job to do. And if you can't do that job, you shouldn't exclusively be the person to do that job poorly, right? Mark Melancon, I'm not taking away from his ability to close games. And I also understand the concept that if the Diamondbacks don't have a save situation for 3-4 weeks, that isn't good for Mark Melancon to not have any time to come into a game or whatever, right? But I mean, throw him in a fucking loss. Throw him in a blowout win. Throw him in other situations other than when the Diamondbacks are tied in the game, I guess is what I would say. Or if you're trying to keep the game close, don't throw Mark Melancon in unless it's a save situation. That seems to be the shit. Neither one of us believe that that's a real thing. Neither one of us think like, oh man, the mentality of a pitcher where he thinks differently when he has a 1-run lead versus when the game. No, but it just hasn't worked out. So if the shit doesn't work out, it's like today with Zac Gallen. Zac Gallen can't go further than 85, 90 pitches before he starts to struggle. So why push the envelope on that? Why make that a challenge that you're trying to get through? It makes me feel, and this could be the case, like the advancement of the person as the player or whatever is more important than the situation, right? Like trying to get them through these struggles that they're having by letting them go out there in these difficult situations and work their way through it. But is it worth sacrificing wins, ball games? I don't know. And is that the purpose, or is the thought process there that, like you said, is it just trust? Is it just trying to show that player that you believe in them by leaving them out there? So hopefully that belief and their confidence in themselves gets them through that situation that they're typically not good at.
Yeah. Mark Melancon, Derek, this season has now 8 losses on the year, and no other reliever in baseball has more than 6. So the Diamondbacks closer Mark Melancon has taken 8 losses, and
sorry, I don't have my bat with me, so I had to do something.
We're gonna have to bring a bat into the studio for you,
the
so
studio.
that you can. Although I don't know how Jacob would feel about
Jacob
you hitting.
was so he doesn't want them to do shotgun. He doesn't want them to shotgun beers on these chairs. How's Jacob going to feel about me beating the shit out of them? I don't know, but we're going to find out. Of course, if you guys haven't signed up to do so, make sure to sign up at gophnx.com for a membership. Of course, if you give us a follow on Twitter and all that stuff, that's great. But become a member. If you become a member, not only do you get members only access to our Discord, that's like better than Twitter. We reuse the same memes and stuff all the time on there in Discord, in the members only Discord. That's where we create these memes. That's where the action happens. So come into the laboratory with us and help us get over this loss, because it's going to take me the whole off day for me to get over this one. And yes, Charles Woodall Pike, I'm going to beat the shit out of my chair when I get home. It's not even going to be on video. I'm just going to do it privately. My neighbors are going to call the cops again. But of course, if you get that membership, you can get yourself an annual membership where you'll get a free t-shirt over at the PHNXLocker.com. You also get, as a member, discounts over at that PHNX Locker. So if you enjoy the merchandise, make sure to grab yourself a shirt, get yourself a discount. They come out. We do it all the time. Also, if you're not interested in the annual membership, get yourself a month-to-month membership, and we'll get you that first month for just 50 cents. Regardless of your membership status, you get all those perks, and you get all of the wonderful articles and writings, like Jesse, who's writing an article about how good Joe Mantiply has been lately, even though Joe Mantiply hasn't been very good lately.
I'm sorry, everyone. I think it was my fault.
No,
I started working on this article about Joe Mantiply, and then the other night, there's the dinky double and single that somehow got him for base hits and a walk, and then today the big home run. That pitch wasn't even in the strike zone. The Wilmer Flores home run today, that was a breaking pitch that was probably about 4 or 5 inches below the strike zone, and Wilmer somehow got it out of the ballpark. So I take full responsibility for everything that's going on with Joe Mantiply right now.
Even though Jesse believes that it is fully his fault, remember, we don't believe in any of that crap around here. When we say tweets about the team doing good and then they do bad, that's not on us. That's on the team. Remember that. But of course, if you're watching us right now on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel, make sure to subscribe, sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss any of the shows going live whenever we go live. We go live post-series shows about 10 minutes after the final out of the final game. Otherwise, we're typically here around 1 p.m. Tomorrow, by the way, just a PSA, we are going to be doing an audio-only podcast because we're going to spend this time tomorrow shooting each other here at PHNX with paintballs. And
not in the studio, hopefully.
We'll see what happens. It might start on the paintball field, but it might carry over to the studio. We'll see what happens. I don't foresee people getting over it very quickly, but of course, make sure to check out for that audio-only podcast. Subscribe to us if you're listening to us right now. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you still download us. Even if you watch us on YouTube, guys, just download us anyway, as a backup. Who knows what happens? We need you here. We need you everywhere. So whether you're listening to us here or watching us, we appreciate it. But make sure to subscribe on your favorite audio podcasting app and leave us a 5-star review if you haven't done so already. We would appreciate you for it. Helps us build this thing we're doing over here at PHNX. And of course, we want you to be part of the family. So get that membership so you can join us in the Discord, because we talk about all sorts of fun things. And of course, one of the discussion topics was not only about the big win by the Diamondbacks in Game 1, which kind of had us feeling on a high and riding high over this situation, but then the big, gigantic loss last night. Dallas Keuchel, again, had a very tough outing, his worst outing yet as a member of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And I don't know. I think we've been kind of, I'm not going to say defending him, but I think people are quick to jump to conclusions on him. I think he's been a serviceable starting pitcher. But after this last start, I have to ask, is it time to start considering moving on and looking at other options, especially considering the Diamondbacks youth movement and everything that they have going on right now? Is it time to start getting guys like Tommy Henry and Corbin Martin up here to fill these roster spots?
I think we might be at that point. 2 1/3 innings. The defense didn't do him any favors once again, but 8 runs, 7 of them wound up being earned. It was a pretty rough go for Dallas Keuchel. And I mean, at this point, Derek, we've got the one outing, right? The 7-inning, 3-run outing, which I believe was against Colorado. The Rockies, all things considered, at Chase Field are not that difficult of an opponent to face. So he's got one good outing, and it's against a team that doesn't hit that well away from their home ballpark. So the resume is not looking great at this point for Dallas Keuchel to keep the job that he currently has. To my knowledge, I don't think they've made any decisions about his future just yet. But I don't think they'll have to. I don't think Dallas Keuchel will pitch again until after the All-Star break. I don't believe so. Maybe the Diamondbacks go through and they have to make a tough decision here in the next week or two about him. But it's a tough sell, Derek, at this point. I mean, he struggled mightily in Chicago, and if you compare the numbers in Arizona with the numbers there's just not a lot that shows you that he's making a whole lot of progress. And he's had a great pitching career. He won a Cy Young Award. And I don't want to take anything away from what he's done as a big leaguer, but it just looks like those days might be behind him.
I really think that's it. I think that, again, this kind of goes to the Mark Melancon decision, where I feel like it's quick to rush to judgment on our part as fans, right? Because when we're watching this, it seems like a much easier decision, right? But
yeah,
we're also the same fan base that blasts this team for giving up on guys too early, who go on to be a pretty decent player elsewhere. There wasn't fucking people out there being like, why are they getting rid of Brandon Drury? Those people didn't exist, right? But now
I think Brandon Drury had he wasn't that good, but I think there were people who were disappointed to see Brandon Drury go at the time. Not to the level of Justin Upton or someone like that. But
I'm just using it as an example where in some cases it's kind of you can't win, right? You either stick with the guy, and then you have us saying, why are you sticking with this guy this long?
Yeah.
Or you give up on them and you see them eventually go somewhere where someone shows a bit of patience with them, much like the Diamondbacks have showed with Joe Mantiply. You discussed before Joe Mantiply's path to being an all-star and how many hurdles that he's had to get over, how many teams have given up on him, how much at times his career looked like it was over, right? How hard he fought to get to the point where he's at with the Diamondbacks now. So now the Diamondbacks are reaping the benefits from certain guys that other teams gave up on. When you talk about Joe Mantiply, Noe Ramirez, and I think that's the same thing with Dallas Keuchel, right? Not to say I don't feel that way with Mark Melancon. Nobody gave up on Mark Melancon. The Diamondbacks went out and actively pursued Ian Kennedy and Mark Melancon to bolster the back end of their bullpen, and so far those guys just haven't worked out the way the Diamondbacks wish. But the guys that the Diamondbacks picked up off of other teams, DFAs and trash heaps and stuff like Noe Ramirez, Joe Mantiply, if you want to say trash heap, even though that sounds awful.
But you're the one who said it, Derek. Nobody.
I'm just saying, though.
Don't go blaming the listeners for that.
I'm blaming Josh Hunt. I'm just going to throw it on Josh Hunt, because it's easy to blame stuff on him.
Don't blame Josh, because I'm going to get him to come up right now. Did you see this comment?
I know. I see it right now.
Yeah.
He's outside the studio. Oh, God.
Trash him, and I'll get him to come up.
Oh, no. Make sure security is aware that man's outside. Anyway, definitely there's this thing with the Diamondbacks having some success, especially last season with bringing in guys because they just needed they needed somebody to fill the space. They needed relievers. They needed guys that could play at a major league level. And a couple of those guys have worked out to be some of the more reliable pieces of their bullpen and such, right? But, really when it comes to this situation with Dallas Keuchel, it was a bit of an experiment. It was another one of those situations where they wanted to, kick the tires on a guy and see if it worked.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem to have worked out.
No, it really hasn't. And it's, it'd be one thing if the Diamondbacks had nowhere else to go, right? If they didn't have guys waiting in AAA and AA who were about on the brink of their major league careers beginning. But that's not the case, right? I mean, Tommy Henry, we've talked a lot about him. He continues to pitch very, very well for the Reno Aces. There are other guys in AAA whose names you've probably heard, Ryan Nelson, Dre Jameson, who have struggled there, and I don't think we're going to see them quite as soon as a lot of people might have hoped. But there are guys down there who I think are ready and are deserving of an opportunity. Yeah. And so, the All-Star break is coming, Derek, and we'll see what the Diamondbacks decide to do. But I think it is certainly possible that that's the last start we've seen from Dallas Keuchel in a Diamondbacks uniform.
Do you think that some of the hesitation continues to be, to a degree, even though that's never going to be confirmed, manipulating the service time and waiting until those guys, they can get maybe an extra year out of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to manipulate service time when, Chris Bryant is coming up and you're the Cubs and you feel like you've found, the next superstar of the game.
Sure.
I don't think you're trying to manipulate service time with Tommy Henry or, not to say the Diamondbacks don't have some really good pitching prospects, and I think he's one of them. But teams don't tend to be too worried about that when it comes to, guys who aren't necessarily those top flight prospects.
Right. Blake Walston is their highest rated pitcher, and he sneaks right in the top 100, right at 99. Right. So it's like, again, their pitching prospects definitely aren't the things so far that have been the thing to look forward to, I guess, the players to look forward to for the future. But they do have some very good guys. And I don't know. I think with the direction of this team and their dedication to rebuilding around these young players, I just don't see a reason why not to start bringing starting pitchers up and giving them an opportunity. They tend to like to put them in the bullpen first just to kind of get their feet wet. And I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I guess last year, they weren't always doing that, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was a bad thing. They were throwing guys in the starting rotation because, frankly, they didn't have a choice. This year,
warm bodies.
Yeah,
warm bodies. We need a living person to get on the mound.
Anyone with a pulse was eligible for the rotation last year, just given the nature of how many injuries happened all at once during the middle of last season. But I don't think they're in that position. Tommy Henry, I think, is a guy who really is probably deserving of jumping right into the rotation. But there are other guys, other pitching prospects who maybe they don't want to bring in directly into that situation. And hopefully they'll get Zach Davies back and, their pitching depth will remain relatively solid at the big league level, and they won't have to throw guys into those situations that they really want to avoid.
Next week, All-Star Week. Like I said, we have the audio podcast tomorrow, but make sure to check out our draft special on Sunday. We're going to be here covering the draft. We're not only going to be covering the Diamondbacks, we're going to be covering the top draft picks. We're going to be also covering the series, their final series with the Padres. So make sure to tune in for that. And also, the Diamondbacks next week have a little promotion going on once they come back from the All-Star break. We have the Toast of the Month sweepstakes, by the way. Make sure to get on this. You can win potentially a Four Peaks $50 gift card, a PHNX shirt of your choice, as well as one of those highly coveted annual memberships. So make sure to get on the Toast of the Month sweepstakes, you guys. I am drinking, by the way, a Hop Knot IPA. I have been all afternoon watching the Diamondbacks blow this game, and it's the one thing that's made me happy over the last 2 hours. So make sure to grab yourself some Four Peaks Brewing Company brews. Josh has the bat. I'm going to contact security and make sure they don't let him up. But again, grab Four Peaks Brewing Company beers. Oh, shit. He's here. Oh, well, I have plenty of beer, so I can barricade myself in this room and last for hours.
No, I'll break that barricade.
No?
I'll break it.
I don't like you. You're supposed to be on our side, Emma.
I'm on Josh's side right now.
You're supposed to be on our side. I don't understand how this happened.
Because Josh and I are teaming up with graphics.
I hate
evil
this.
Graphics.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. But of course, again, Four Peaks. Get some Four Peaks near you, whether it's at a convenience store, supermarket, wherever you get your beer. In the mix since '96 here in the Valley. And I don't trust Josh at all.
He's coming for the chair, Derek. He's coming for the chair.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. We can actually, it could be a handicap match against the chair, 2-on-1. So bring the bat. We'll attack the chair.
The question is, what kind of chair is it, right?
Oh, well, is this, this is the draft from ASU, isn't it? Shane killed that draft, by the way, if you have a chance to watch the ASU show. He absolutely destroyed that draft. Not only was Throne a solid draft pick,
was very solid,
but
yes.
first class chair, first class airline seat.
That was a good
fantastic
pick.
Sleeper picks.
I've never flown first class. I don't think.
Oh,
so I don't have any idea.
Oh man, we need to get you. It's now you're here.
I expect that any traveling with PHNX, I expect will be first class.
Styling, profiling, limousine riding, jet flying, the whole bit, just like Ric Flair. But Of course, like I said, get yourself some Four Peaks brew. Also, check out our friend at OG's if you haven't done so already. Enjoy Four Peaks, by the way, 21 and over only. Enjoy responsibly. And check out our friends also at OG's. Enjoy them responsibly. Get them at your local dispensary if you haven't tried them out already. They have a wonderful variety of flavors, by the way. That is what OG's is all about. They are the #1 gummy edible here in the state of Arizona. And then, like I said, their flavors are what they pride themselves on. If you've ever tried an edible before, you know that they can tend to not really focus on that. But not only do they have a variety of strains and a variety of doses, but a wonderful variety of flavors. So check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on their Instagram at ogsbrands. That's OGEEZ brands. Find their products at your local dispensary. Must be 21 years or older to purchase. Also, OG's is having another pool party at the Maya Day Club. Again, I cannot attend that one, and I'm thankful for that, but you should. It's at July 30th over at the Maya Day Club, because I still haven't recovered from the last one, but enjoy that. And I'm sending Jesse over there, so make sure he goes, because I can't be here to make sure he goes, but make sure he goes to that one. All right, Jesse, looking ahead, obviously we just have this last series with the Padres. We were really looking for the Diamondbacks to close out the series with the Giants strong, but again, this, like we talked about, was a very tough stretch against the NL West.
Should we look at the numbers from this series, Derek? Can we
want
bear to look at the numbers?
Yeah, let's look at the numbers from this series, because, oh my God.
That's what happens when you play when you play a 3-game series and you lose one of the games 13-0 and the other ones are pretty close. Yeah, things look a little lopsided. So Giants take 2 out of 3. Their starting pitching ERA was 2.08 compared to 6.19 for the D-backs. Bullpen ERA is 2.57 for the Giants compared to 7.71 for the Diamondbacks. Granted, Carson Kelly's 9th inning yesterday is factored in there, so
I don't care.
I don't think if you took that out, it would look great.
Carson Kelly is why I lost the under on that game. So thanks, Carson Kelly, for your pitching effort.
Wait, you had the under on how many runs?
Here's the thing: on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, Jesse, you can just jump in at any time, and sometimes once the San Francisco Giants go up by 8 runs, that over-under changes quite a bit, right?
Sure.
It's a fluctuating live game betting experience.
So you didn't bet the under on half a run scored in the 9th inning when Carson Kelly was
on
the mound?
On 12.5 is what I bet the under.
That is unfortunate.
I got that at plus 110. I thought I was going to hit on that, and that was a good value at the time. What a fool I am now. But
yeah,
that was a rough game, and it was easily one that we weren't expecting to see, because we've talked about this, but the Diamondbacks have at least remained competitive in the majority of these games. So that loss there, 13-0, was something special and something we weren't expecting to see.
One word for it. Yeah, I mean, Logan Webb was on the mound for the Giants, so Dallas Keuchel against Logan Webb, it was definitely advantage Giants in terms of the starting pitching matchup. But on the other hand, you kind of felt like, okay, last series, the Diamondbacks, when they played the Rockies for 4 games, they lost 3 out of 4, but they actually scored 4 more runs than the Rockies in that series. Whereas in this series, they had an opportunity to get completely blown out by the Giants because of the 13-0 loss yesterday, and still somehow, come away with the series win. And unfortunately, they were just short of that today.
Why can't Zac Gallen win a 5th game? Why can't Zac Gallen win a 5th game, Jesse? Why?
The baseball gods just they won't allow it.
They finally realized it on the radio broadcast today. As I was driving in, I heard Garagiola say, "You want to hear something crazy? Zac Gallen hasn't won more than 4 starts." It's like, we've known that. Yeah. We've been talking about that for weeks. Oh, it's heartbreaking, and I don't understand it. But of course, we still have a DraftKings King of the Series. And, of course, it is our young king, the one and only Alek Thomas. Had a 500 batting average in this one, 3 doubles. Not much else. Not a lot of offense there, unfortunately, for the Diamondbacks as a whole. Ketel Marte had his home run today, but Alek Thomas just remains consistently good, not only at the plate, but, man, this kid just is something special in the outfield. Like,
yeah,
it's weird to say this and to be such, I guess, a baseball nerd about it, to, like, watch him play even hits from the Giants in the outfield in San Francisco, but he already seems very familiar with how to play that outfield. He just has incredible baseball instincts.
His defense is honestly ridiculous. And yeah, I mean, everyone, of course, is looking forward to Corbin Carroll being called up potentially this year, maybe next year. And the big question is, does Corbin Carroll play center field and you move Alek Thomas to left? I don't know if you can. I mean, given how athletic Alek Thomas has shown himself to be, some of the absurd plays that he's already made, banging into the center field wall at Chase Field, which is not an easy place to play center field at all. It's going to be really tough for the Diamondbacks to justify moving Alek Thomas away from that position, especially when he's being used as a defensive replacement frequently, like he was in this game.
Yeah.
If Alek Thomas isn't in the starting lineup, if it's a close game, the Diamondbacks are probably putting him in the 8th or 9th inning just to get his glove in the outfield. So he's been that good defensively, and as you said, 5 for 10 with 3 doubles is getting the job done with the bat as well.
You're damn right. We mean future Salt River Rafter Corbin Carroll. Get out to the Arizona Fall League and watch all these guys. Speaking of Corbin Carroll, Jordan Lawler is going to be joining him in the Futures game, which is very exciting as a replacement pick. And again, Jordan Lawler had a really weird situation that a lot of people had questions about. We're still not 100% confirmed on it, but the Hillsboro Hops had a game against Vancouver in Vancouver. So we imagine that the reason why Lawler had the quick send up and then demotion back down to Visalia had something to do with traveling to Canada, whether it is vaccination status related or passport related. I think that's the reason why, because he had 3 games. He didn't really do super well with the Hops, but still such a short amount of time. I don't think it was performance based.
There's no way that the Diamondbacks demoted Jordan Lawler after 3 games.
Right. Oh no, Josh Hunt is here with him. He actually has a bat with him. Oh my God. Oh shit, we gotta go. We gotta wrap this up. Can we oh no. He's got an aluminum bat. Welcome, sir. The one and only, guys, the one and only Josh Hunt. You know him from Discord.
He's really been part of the show.
He's been a part of the show for a while now, but of course, we're excited to have you join us. You got to move your mic closer to your face. But thank you for joining us, man. What are you as frustrated as we are with this entire situation?
Yeah. I listen to my sad music, but then I just got tired of listening to the sad music. I realized I just, I've been playing it for too often. And so I think it's about time to get angry.
Yeah, no, I mean, I try to be positive again, but the decision to leave Zac Gallen in, I know, again, that's not the thing that lost it for him, but it just felt like the wrong thing to do. And I don't try to put on my managerial fedora too often, but this is one of those times.
Do you have a managerial fedora?
Oh yeah, I do. It's got a feather in it. It's a big feather too. But I just feel like this is one of those times where it was a bad move. Zac Gallen, too long.
Yeah. I mean, we already know 80 pitches and he should be good.
That's
you should just take him out at that time.
And
But what options do they have besides? I don't know.
I
don't
know.
have any options.
I don't know. Joe Mantiply, I guess, but the Josh Hunt, by the way, Ramon Chavez, yes, the one and only. So, but thank you for bringing the bat. I'm going to use that to break some stuff later.
What kind of bat do we have here?
Oh, it's an Easton. Oh yeah, that's a nice bat. Yeah, this will do some damage to the chair, so I appreciate that.
Have you hit some home runs at some point in your life with this guy?
With that one, no.
Okay.
The stuff I normally use wooden bats, but that one's that's my throwaway bat.
Aluminum bat or wooden bat, as far as the sound is concerned?
Wooden bat.
Wooden bat for you? Yeah.
I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Okay, that's a consensus
There's
across the board.
Little like a ding sound when you hit a home run, or just when you hit the ball in general with a metal bat, and it doesn't have the same.
But it's satisfying. Even a small single can sound big with an aluminum bat.
That's true. It all kind of sounds the same. Whereas with a wood bat, there's more. You can really hear when you got all the ball with a wooden bat.
Okay, I guess my last question about this game before we get out of here is it more frustrating to lose a 13-0 game or today's game?
I think today's game. Because you had hope.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
So you could hold on to that all the way until the end. You think you had, you might win the series.
These guys had jokes around here when they were up 3-0. I was trying to be positive. Everybody's walking around talking about when they're going to blow it and stuff. I don't like that. There was a lot of negative energy, Jesse. 13-0.
There was.
This one?
Yeah. I think I would probably go with this one.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was a little bit hard to really pay close attention to what was happening in that game yesterday because it was not competitive.
Well, it was done by the first inning essentially, right? Between the offensive output. And
I do enjoy watching Carson Kelly pitch, as weird as that is to say. There's something amusing about that. But we've seen Carson Kelly pitch a little bit too much the last couple of years.
I don't like it.
So hopefully we don't have to see too much more of that.
Charles Whittle Pike says we had hope today. Now there's only rage. That's the best way to put it. But of course, going back to our DraftKings pick of this king of the series. Shout out to Alec Thomas. If you guys haven't done so already, make sure to sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook. Of course, you use our code of PHNX, and you, on your first deposit, can get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Again, don't do the suggestion I had, which is like hop in there, sign up, and then make a $5 bet. Go big, swing for the fences with your first bet. Make sure you remember that first deposit, after that, you'll get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code PHNX only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Yeah, I was jumping in on late games yesterday and just betting the under. And I don't know if it's cheating or not, but it was working for me, except for the Diamondbacks game. That's the only one where I got caught with my hand in the cookie jar as far as betting the under on games in like 8th inning or later, based on what the score is. You guys know baseball doesn't really change much. Like those over-unders fluctuate
when you have
throughout the game.
position players who may pitch, Derek, you might want to be a little careful betting the under.
I just expect everybody to give up at that point when it's an 8-0 game, and I was wrong. So, of course, I got caught. Don't get caught doing that. But if you get yourself into a parlay situation, the more legs you add, the more money you win over at the DraftKings Sportsbook, and that is especially fun, especially when it comes to the same game parlay. So make sure to check that out on the DraftKings Sportsbook. Thank you guys, by the way, so much for joining me. Thank you, Josh, for joining us, for coming here, not only threatening me in the Discord, but then like actually showing up with your bat. Now I'm terrified and I don't feel safe anywhere. But you can follow all of us on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. Jesse over here is at Jesse N. Friedman. This guy over here is at HuntStar05.
That's right.
That's right. But all roads lead to @PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also follow our show at PHNX_DBacks. We thank you guys again so much for joining us. On behalf of Jesse, Josh, and myself, we appreciate your time. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when people with bats don't know where you do the show from.